Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Williamson. Now on to the speaker of the day, Bob Andrews. Robert Andrews Jr., Captain, United States Naval Reserve, retired. Captain Andrews is a West Michigan native, born and raised in Muskegon, and upon law school graduation from the University of Michigan, he enlisted in the United States Naval Reserve. Successful completion of Officer Candidate School, Captain Andrews was commissioned on 5 March 1965 as a Navy JAG officer. After much success and promotion over the years while on active duty, he remained actively involved in the Navy Ready Reserve program, advancing in rank and responsibility until his transfer to the retired reserve on 30 September 1995. Please welcome to the microphone Captain Robert Andrews Jr.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you all for coming here today to join us. It's a gorgeous day to celebrate, and this is a wonderful location that we have here to honor our fallen. Next year we celebrate 250 years of our freedom. Our democracy is not perfect, but it is the very best representative system of government in the world. Military, and that is why we have veterans. A great-grandfather of mine served in the Union Army during the Civil War. A great-grandfather of my wife's served in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Both of them survived, both of them returned home, but fortunately, my grandfather's side won. I should mention here that my wife went to Ohio State University and I went to Michigan. The rivalry continues. But just as that rivalry strengthens our relationship, the Civil War and its aftermath have strengthened our nation. We work together in spite of our differences for our mutual benefit. We are one nation. All. I'd like to share with you some of my memories of Memorial Days in past in the hope that they will evoke in you some fond and cherished recollections of your service or the service of a loved one or someone dear to you. I remember celebrating the end of World War II by decorating my bicycle with ribbon woven in the spokes of the wheel and riding with my friends in celebration of both VE Day and VJ Day. My earliest recollections of Memorial Day were of parades and gathering of family. I remember soldiers marching in formation. These men marching included my grandfather, a veteran of the Spanish-American War, an infantryman in Cuba. He was one of my heroes because of that service. My mom and dad each had a younger brother who served in World War II, served through World War II, from one end to the other. My mother's brother was an Army Reserve engineering officer who was called to active duty on December 8, 1941, one day after Pearl Harbor brought us into the World War II. He was deployed to North Africa in March of 1942, and in October of 45, he returned home after 3.5 years to meet his son, who was over 3 years of age, that he'd not seen before. But the main point for him, he returned safely. My father's brother joined the Navy before the war started because he anticipated that a war was coming and he wanted to do his part. He became a bomb disposal officer and spent the war either in active service in that capacity or training others to do this likewise. He also survived the war and came home safely. A cousin of my father, but not everybody was as lucky as those two. A cousin of my father's joined the Army Air Corps. He became a B-24 bombardier, the guy who looks through the bomb sight and punches the button and says, "Bombs away." But on his 17th mission from England to Ploesti in what is now Romania, his bomber was shot down and he was lost. Another of my heroes is my father-in-law, Walter Harris. I learned his story in bits and pieces over the years. He was raised in rural Alabama, a town about the size of Custer, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. He found himself at age 19 working on the Gulf Shore in Panama City, Florida, at a small cabin camp. There, his boss, a lawyer, said to him, "Walt, you should join the service, get some training and some experience." He took that advice and signed up for the Navy in January of 1940. Heavens to Betsy, forgot it. Wichita, pardon me. At any rate, he spent escort duty for convoys going across the North Atlantic to supply our ally at that time, Mediterranean, where it was the only ship to take a hit. There's a story to that, but we don't have time to go through all that detail. But the ship eventually was, my father-in-law served for a full 30 years. The majority of that time, shipboard duty, leaving his wife home to take care of everything for herself when the ship deployed. We should not forget that military spouses also served and sacrificed. In true military style, my father-in-law left instructions about matters that would need to be addressed upon his passing. His entry for his desires regarding his final resting place was a simple handwritten notation. Call Arlington. Don't take no for an answer. I joined the Navy in 1964 during Vietnam, but served stateside. My brother also joined the Navy, but got no closer than Guam. My wife's brother went to Vietnam as an Army helicopter, Huey helicopter pilot, was shot down once, but came home in one piece. Everyone who has had military service knows that regardless of what you may have learned at home, when you enter the military service, you will be trained on the correct way to do things. The military to explain and instruct upon even the most minute of details. How you make your bed, how you wear your clothes, fold your clothes, arrange your clothes in the dresser, when to go to bed, when to get up. All are predetermined for you. Nothing is left to chance. There is a plan for each day, known coincidentally as the plan of the day, which provides each service member with a timeline for each day. Every new recruit quits. That is part of the training designed to respond immediately and efficiently to any situation. It's that unexpected event for which the military constantly trains to be prepared. This day, I also remember Alfred Ardolph, a World War II Navy veteran who, until 6 months ago, had breakfast on the first Thursday of each month with a bunch of us veterans here in Ludington. Alfie joined the Navy in 1944, served on the battleship Massachusetts. His battle station was the crow's nest of that ship. Many ships in World War II were built before radar had been developed, and they still had crow's nests. Alfie, at about 80 feet above the water, had a front row seat to much of the action in the Pacific during the last several months of the war. The Ludington Daily News ran a long article about Alfie's experience a few years ago. It's probably available yet in the archives of the Mason County Historical Society Research Center. Alfie died in January at 99 years of age. He will be missed, as are others. I remember other heroes, men I met here in Ludington when I came here. Morgan Anderson, Ben Bursaw, Bud Dorrell, Bud Reed. I just learned last night that the youngest American service member killed in Vietnam was a man named Dan Bullock from right here in Mason County. He was 14 when he falsified his birth certificate to join the Marines. He was killed on June 7, 1969. I want to thank the Cemetery Club, who each year places flags on the graves of the veterans buried at both the Ludington Cemetery and Pere Marquette Cemetery. Last Thursday, the Daily News ran a front page article about them. That same duty is performed every year by veterans across the country. Thank you, Buddy Reed and Rick Plummer and all the rest of you guys who do that. That's a big project, but a meaningful one. I also want to mention the American Legion, the AMVETS, and the Veterans of Foreign Wars. They do good work for veterans and for our community and conduct leadership programs for youth. If you are eligible for membership but do not belong, I recommend that you give these groups a closer look. There's room for everybody, including you. We should also remember those who serve in the law enforcement and firefighting, first responders, and emergency workers. They are all here for us 24/7, 365, and are putting their lives on the line for us every day. So here we are today sharing memories and honoring those who served and have gone before us. Wish otherwise as we will and do, we must continue to be aware that the job is not finished. This is reality.